the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Well, Eric Cain, first thing I want to ask you about, you've been at a lot of these fall camp practices and everything else, because they're off today, right? We're taping this on a Thursday morning. So they're off this morning. But what has been your most interesting observation you've had from seeing fall camp in person over the last 2 weeks?
I guess interesting observation. Probably the tight ends, and I recognize we're still pretty early on, and you know, full pad just came on yesterday, and scrimmage number 1's coming up on Saturday. But I mean, it's like every time you look up, the tight ends are doing something athletic. The tight ends are doing something where it's like, oh wow, or man, that group, that those 4 guys just look like football players. And again, like I'm intrigued to see how Deshaun Brame transitions inside, you know, hand in the dirt, physicality aspect and all that. Jack Van Dorsler did a good job in that regard back in the spring, and he has more of a defensive end background, so that comes as no surprise playing high school football in Texas. We know Ethan Davis has spent years trying to get into that role, and he's starting to come around, and of course Miles Kitselman. So, and maybe it has to do with the receivers, who I'm sure you'll ask me about here in a moment, and maybe the lack of guys out there and the lack of plays or whatever. But I mean, it's like the tight ends look like one of the best parts about this team. So I'd say the tight ends. I probably wouldn't have said that coming into fall camp. I don't think they were going to be bad, but I just didn't think they were going to look this good, and they have so far. And that's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and you feel better, like with no tight ends in this class now, with Carson Snead flipping to North Carolina. You feel okay because look, we'll see if I guess Ethan Davis. It depends on what kind of year he has. If he has a truly like breakout year, maybe he goes straight to the NFL. But if he doesn't, and he's just good, and he has one more year where Kitselman's gone, he's exhausted his eligibility, and he's the leader, and he gets one more year. Then you got Deshaun Brame and Jack Van Dorsler in there. I mean, you're okay. And Cole Harrison's still out there, and you can always go in the portal. Like Miles Kitselman, no one thought was going to be a leader in that room and be one of the top 3-4 tight ends in the conference when he arrived at Tennessee from Alabama. So you feel pretty good there. Like you said, like you got 2 last cycle. You really don't necessarily just need to take somebody. Although I did really want Moose Ludwig just because his name's Moose Ludwig. Yeah. And I just felt like Heupel and Luttrell and company would have had, and Ablin would have had a lot of fun with Moose Ludwig. And I wanted to hear Moose in Neyland Stadium, like Moose. That would have been
Moose. Yeah.
That would hurt because I just think that one would have. Boo Carter, though, great name for the circumstances he has, because if he gets boo, like you're just not going to know either way. It's a great situation for Boo Carter this fall. But you talk about the receivers, like I can already sense, like on the Volquest message boards and our comments this week on our shows, and I think fans are already starting to like splinter a little bit in terms of this conversation. And I think it's uncomfortable is the whole thing. Is like some folks are really like hitting the panic meter of like, what are we doing? And my whole thing was, and I don't know if you agree, but the ship has sailed. Like, I guess this was a January problem that never was addressed. So it's just been, I can't talk about this every day for 8 months. It's just what happened was they messed up. They lost a whole lot of folks, some of which are fine. Like you recruited over Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod and company. Like you've done a really good job recruiting in that department. I think Tennessee's going to be just fine at receiver in 26 and beyond. 25 though, you knew Brew McCoy exhausted his eligibility. You knew Dante Thornton was off to the NFL. You knew you only had one upperclassman veteran in Chris Brazzell. Like you just needed one guy. You just needed a Dane Key. You needed a Nick Anderson. You needed an Isaiah Horton. You just needed one. Like that's all you needed to compete and work against Brazzell. Brazzell not being around for fall camp at all. That's a problem. Timing is like one of the biggest parts of this fall camp for this offense with a new quarterback, new receivers, and the timing's not going to be there. Like clearly Tennessee's going to have to put these guys in bubble wrap. Braylon Staley missed multiple days this week. Mike Matthews missed some time. He missed some time last fall camp too with the hamstring thing. Brazzell, we'll see. Like that's a huge TBD on what that looks like. He missed some time last year. And it's like you bet on 2021 health, right? Where in 2021, you had about 2,000 snaps between Cedric Tillman, Velus Jones, and Javonte Payton. You had pretty amazing injury luck there. 22, Cedric Tillman goes down with an ankle injury in the Akron game. He's not the same from Akron on. Then in 23, you lose Brew McCoy for the year in a devastating injury against South Carolina. 24, you lose, Squirrel White was banged up all year long, and so you're getting nothing out of the slot position all year. Like it just Dante Thornton also in 23, where he's finally breaking out on the outside and he gets hurt on a touchdown reception against Missouri. So you already knew the numbers weren't right. You already knew you were going to have to throw out freshmen. Like, it is what it is. Like, you mismanaged this room. Like, this is like you can still be high on other parts of this team and still say that they have a high floor. And I love the defense. I think the offensive line is going to be a lot better than people think. I think the running game is going to be just fine. But it is what it is. Like, the receiver position, like, that was the whole thing in the spring portal. It's like, I didn't care. Like, the Brady kid from Cal, like, that's not fixing anything. Keelan Marion from BYU, that's not fixing anything. You needed to address this 9 months ago. Like, this was the 9 months ago problem that is now, I think fans are saying, oh, wow, we really are thin. And we have like 5 guys dressed out during fall camp with a quarterback competition going on. Like, it's just, I'm out. I can't sell any more passing game stock outside of the tight ends, Eric Cain.
I mean, I have no issue with the guys that left the room in terms of the transfer portal, Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, Squirrel White. I wish them all well. And I understand Squirrel White was very productive here. Like, I'm not trying to talk down on his production.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fun to watch and all that. There's a lot of other factors here. I mean, all these guys, I'm sure, were saying, hey, how much can I get to come back?
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.